We're on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our series about being the change and make a commitment for change. I have set a goal to make a 90-day commitment to make videos and spread the awareness of what we can do to promote a higher state of consciousness and mindfulness. My name is Wuchowsen Rushing Wind Eagle, and this is White Wolf Woman, and this is Bonnie. And today we're going to talk about some mindfulness training. We're going to talk about what it is to come to like a collective consciousness. What is meditation to you? What is meditation to me? What is meditation for you? How do we meditate? Because everybody meditates in different ways. There's breathing exercises. There's in different theologies, they keep their eyes open. Some people keep their eyes closed. Some people go places. But I guess our purpose here today is what's working for us, White Wolf Woman and Wuchowsen. So we're just going to talk about some different ways that we meditate, and when we meditate, what we're doing to really reconstruct our brains, so that we shift from this old paradigm of old thought processes and programming, and we get on this new awakening. And that was what our intention is with this video is, you know, my meditation practices are a little bit awkward and silly and different. I'll just start off. I started meditating, in the mid-90s, and I used this really interesting music that came out of Israel. It's called psychedelic trance music, and really intense, like boom, boom, boom. But it was tuned into different frequencies, and I would listen to it, and it took me on a journey. And for me, in the beginning, years ago, this was meditation for me. Whatever could take my brain space from this present plane of existence and this dimension and this time to somewhere else. But then I got to the plane of, okay, when I get there, what am I supposed to do when I get there? And so, I don't know, what some other silly things I do when I meditate. It took me for a while. I use Bonnie as a practice, as a tool. If I'm not grounded, sometimes I had to use tools and she's part of my ceremony. We're also going to talk about ceremony and different ways that we come in ceremony, different ways to hold presence. What is presence? What is space? When somebody says, I need space, or give me your presence, we're going to talk about these different subjects in this video. So, and it's all about really coming in ceremony, holding presence, building that space, and so we'll get started. And we'll start off with White Wolf Woman, and she's going to give us a little background on her definition of ceremony, and maybe some different guidelines and practices that she uses when she meditates, and we'll just see from there.
Okay. Welcome everybody. This is Alchimatress, White Wolf Woman, and I would like to share a little bit about the state of meditation. And the state of meditation doesn't only happen when you sit down, cross your leg, close your eyes, and press your fingers together. That's one way of meditation. Meditation can happen in the garden while you're planting tomatoes, just by the main reason that you can be present with what you're doing, and that you allow fluidity in your thought pattern. That could be called meditation. Meditation can happen when you are at work, and you are in a state of balance within yourself, and holding a greater awareness with what is going on around, who is moving, who says what, and just holding a very neutral space. That is called awareness, and I consider that to be a meditation state of being. So really, it can happen anywhere. It's not, there's no one official way to do this. This will be very customized to what works best for each of us. In that same line, I would like to include the meditate state happen also while you're in ceremony. These are kind of like a hand-to-hand things for me. Ceremony, ceremonial time, how you approach ceremony in your consciousness, what is that reveals to you, how did you practice ceremonial time? Ceremonial time, it will be kind of a commitment to yourself of doing a project that feels calm, that feels relaxed, that feels fruitful, that feels joyful, that feels positive in your entire being. And we do that. Ceremonial time is something that, again, is a way of being. So I do consider ceremonial time when it's a place where you have highly respect awareness. That will be the only difference probably between just meditation and the state of ceremony. Ceremony for me personally carries a lot of sacredness and a lot of a state of wisdom, a state of maturity, a state of whatever that means to each of us. I hold to the degree that I conceive that to be for me. So there is no judgment on of doing it right or wrong. This is kind of something that always come up for people who start doing meditation. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Am I going to the right places? There's no right or wrong. There's not such things in this state. This state, you just getting there slowly, releasing the layers of the mental body, the emotional body, the monkey mind, and all of these things that are stopping the fluidity of you being, or I being, in a state of presence, in a state of solidity or balance. So they are kind of really hand to hand for me, these two. What do you think? What would you offer in that?
Well, meditation for me comes in so many different ways. I'm able to what I call astral project. Last night we had a ceremony where we sat in meditation for several hours, maybe 4 hours. So during that 4-hour period, I sat and I went to a different place, and almost like a different planet. And it is a new moon, so but it can be a very enlightened experience, because what happens when I get to this place is I'm talking to my subconscious, and I'm saying, Wuchowsen, Stephen, Scooby Hugs, what's going on here? And I have a lot of self-talk. So sometimes what's really great in meditation is if you can like close your eyes and tune out everything around you to where you're almost just like blank for a minute. If you can do that, that's wonderful. It takes a lot of practice. Meditation's like flexing a muscle, like working out.
Literally.
And the more you do it, the better you get. I'm not a muscle builder. I don't go out to the gym or anything, but I do meditate a lot. And it's amazing when you can get that muscle to work, where you can go and what you can do. And what I'm learning now is that to be more honorable in the meditation, and when I get into that space, and I do so in a method of breathing. You don't want to hold your breath. At first, when I first started meditating, I had to count my breath, and I do what's called 4 square breathing. You breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, and you hold it for 4 seconds. And when you breathe out, you kind of like for 4 seconds, and you hold and you repeat. you repeat that cycle 4 times. It's called 4 square breathing. That initially got me to the level where I'm at now, where I can just sit and kind of go into my own meditative space and have that experience. But the real key to success here is when you get into a meditation space, you can really rewire your brain chemistry, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to shift from this old paradigm of thinking, get off the old programming, get onto the new awakening, and say, we want to be part of a collective consciousness. And that is a secret in the meditative mind, which is also success. If I meditate in large groups of people, and we don't say anything. We don't look at each other. We sit in circle for sometimes an hour, sometimes 3 hours. But we can feel each other. We can hear each other, and we can communicate. And this is a form of medicine, a form of practice that I think has been forgotten over the ages. I think it's been pushed out by Western culture, and I think it's good to really bring this back. And if you can talk a little bit about rewiring the brain, like what do you do for you when you go into that meditative space?
I, simply go into my bedroom and sit down in the bed, close the curtain, maybe light a little bit of a sage or Palo Santo to clean the space and to remind me to go into sacred space. And I will sit down and simply relax my body. And sometime, there will be some revelations or insights, and sometimes it will not be that the case. It will be simply a time for my body to relax, and any static energetic that is in my field to wind out of my field. And so I do that. The meditation for me is a form of calibration. Doesn't necessarily has to be going and hunting for something or something that I need to get, but simply a rewiring and calibrating. And so on the same notes about the brain, what does that for you? Well, it really rewire the right and left side of our hemisphere, which is the masculine and the feminine side. That we all have the current of masculine and feminine within our bodies. So this current gets disturbed a lot from a lot of different reasons. And so to bring this balance back, meditation is a great way and a great tool to do that. It's very important for that reason, because that in itself, that wiring that is happening between the brain, the right and left hemisphere, is going to balance also the currents in your body, and you're just we all going to get much more balanced, centered, reasonable people and human beings, better human beings in the end of the day, for all the way around. I also feel that the state of awareness after having a practice of meditation, it brings a certain crispiness, certain clearness in the air. I feel that it's easy to perceive things from the field that we live on, the energetic field. Perceive and discern way better once this wiring is happening in our brain. And so it's also meditation is a tool for healing. For me, I use it as a healing tool. Whatever I have pain in my body that day, whatever I feel the tension, if it's in my neck or in my low back, I personally use a golden infinite symbol, and I put this symbol in the places of my body and allow the symbol to go into the form of a current form. And I let it there with my consciousness, watching it as long as it needs to be. Sometimes it wants to move to other places in my body, and I just follow it, just to learn what it's doing and what it has to show me, and how I can better heal myself in those ways. So that will be some of the tips that I have on how to calibrate, how to heal, how to balance yourself.
I hear a lot. I got into the meditation scene pretty lengthy about 6 years ago in Asheville, North Carolina. And I remember when I first started, people said, sit up straight, because it does align your third eye. There is a lot of benefits to really holding that space and that presence, and it's not the most comfortable, but you can get to a higher plane in your collective consciousness. But then again, for me, I've learned to stay comfortable. I lay down as long as I can, say I'm not falling asleep at this time. I'm going into my mind to correct something, and to really have a thought process with myself. And meditation is super important. It brings you back to space. Even walking is meditation. But there's really great tools and out there for meditation, sound healing. YouTube certainly has a lot of different meditation videos, and they have different frequencies. 432 opens your heart chakra. It makes things a little bit easier. There are videos to open up your crown chakra. There are some really exciting meditation videos out there, like Astarius Miraculi, and that will just blow your mind. And it's a different world, and a lot of people that I know in my circle have asked me, what is meditation? What is this for you? They've never done this before, and this is something I take for granted. I do it all the time. I've been doing it since the early 90s in different ways, and for me, my ceremony, my altars are like Bonnie, and I keep her dressed, and I have like Zen Bear, and I always made sure Zen Bear had his pants on and stuff, because these are my altars. They're my sacred items. And so I think it's important to have like a little sacred space. But let's also talk about like going into space, like presence and being present and being aware. Not just with meditation, just like the word in itself with people, and when you're in ceremony with people. If somebody invites you to a ceremony, it's a really, it might not mean a lot to you. You may be very confused, but honor that space, because it means a hell of a lot to that tradition of everybody meditates a little bit differently. When I was at Standing Rock, they actually didn't understand a lot of the meditation and different things. So these are different cultures from different people. But for me, it's something that works well for me. And then using certain plant medicines, whether it be cannabis or I think the most profound medicine plant technique for meditation is the ayahuasca plant medicine, which they call the Mother Pachamama. And that really brings you to this state. A lot of people think it's a hallucination, like an LSD trip, and it's not. It's something that just really brings you to this really self of knowing yourself. And you can sit there and say, Mother Pachamama, I have this problem right here, and she'll take it out of it. And that's how powerful that plant medicine is. And that's what the awareness we're here as healers, offering you mystic Wuchowsen and her. We're giving you some tools today that you can. Meditation's a good practice. It's a good way for healing. Everybody meditates differently. Some people take it really seriously. I go into a meditation and I will start laughing, because I will get onto a spaceship up there in the Arcturus galaxy and talk to my family of the star people. I'm like, brothers, you all here, and we're gonna make it. And that's what this video series is about, is really bringing back this brotherhood and sisterhood. We're all in this together, and we're gonna get through these tough times. We're gonna learn to live in peace, love, and harmony through work, practice, and socialization, communication, and come to that collective consciousness. Because if imagine a place where we can all sit in circle for 4 hours and meditate together. That's a really sacred thing, and that's something that I do a lot out here in Oregon, and I was doing that pretty actively in Boulder, Colorado as well. But I'm getting more actively involved in group meditations, and so when you can come to the awareness of it by yourself, well, I can get to this myself, or even if you can't, group meditations are kind of exciting because you can feel the energy from the other people in the group. Guided meditations work well for me. Guided meditations are meditations that are led by voice or music, so that you're just not sitting there in your headspace ruminating through thoughts, which I get a lot, and it's sometimes often hard to clear those thoughts. And so the way I was raised in my meditation practice was with different music and guided meditations, and that's something I contribute as a musician, are different guided meditation music sets, and there will be some of those to come shortly. But we just wanted to share to you today in a video about meditation practices, coming to a collective consciousness, because that's where we want to be. When you get to a collective consciousness, money, wealth, fame, all that stuff goes out the door. And you remember, you are at peace on this earth and this existence and this time and this dimension right now in the present. You are a being inside a human body having an experience, and then you realize you're really in the matrix and you can control what's around you if you can come to that level of understanding to break down those mental barriers. Mm-hmm. And I've had a lot of mental barriers in my life. I've been through it, and Western medicine did not work for me. Antidepressants didn't work for me. Different things like that. I had to come to my true self and understand myself, and I seek that. I went to spiritual centers. I stayed at ashrams, and I didn't understand a lot. I read Tibetan books. I learned kirtan. I learned Buddhism and different theologies to try to fix my brain in any way possible. But when it all came down to it, all these different theologies taught is to really come to the collective decision that your thoughts are okay, and that you control your thoughts, and your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your emotions, and your emotions control your behavior. So if you can pump the brakes at your thoughts, you can really put at ease your emotions and your feelings and your behavior. And I guess that's what we're getting at today. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's really the science of getting to understand that one thought can spark a feeling, but you don't have to spiral into that feeling. You can go right back to choosing a different thought, and it takes a lot of work. Like I said, it's like going out to a gym, but it's definitely well-deserved practice, and I would love to meditate with anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we can meditate on Facebook Live, but you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. And but we just wanted to make a little healthy video for you today. We'll see if we can make another one later today. If you have any subject matter that you would like us to talk about that may help you and your development to reach a higher state of consciousness, awareness, or mindfulness, we'd like to share, and what's working for us and what we can do to help our community. And I really love you all. I thank you for joining us today. We have a YouTube channel that we're putting all these videos on, and I will continue to make some other videos and add those on there as well. And we really thank you for this time and this presence, for your Hanuman, Sri Hanuman, your dedication, determination, drivenness to this higher state of presence and self-awareness through a higher state of collective consciousness. Again, my name is Wuchowsen, and this is White Wolf Woman, and we are here as emissaries of light and love to help our tribe and community and family through these struggling times as we bring peace, love, and harmony to this planet.